we love flamenco and we want to do what we've seen and what we've liked. But we are Taiwanese, and so there is something that we can't get rid of. So if our transmission could look a little bit different, I think it's normal.
When we do flamenco, if we will try to copy the Spaniards, you have to look like Spaniards. You have to fake the appearance. But that's not really art. I always have the vision that someday we can show the Spanish people Oriental beauty in flamenco.
My flamenco have Chinese culture inside. Sometimes you can feel when we control the body or we do the emotional, it's different. Maybe we have the power we want to have, but maybe we don't have. But we have the woman power, but it's not like Gitana. We are not Spanish woman. We are Chinese woman. We are Taiwanese woman. Should be like our own style.
Everything I do will be different from a Spaniard doing flamenco. And also, like my personality, like Taiwan has been governed by Japan, governed by people from China. We have this, even though I don't like it, but I know I'm definitely influenced by this, social, you can say restriction or idea about being a woman, or in this Confucius theory type of thing. You have to act in a certain way, which is definitely very different from Spaniard people.
I do not know Spanish, but I can feel the emotion and some kind of sadness or happiness. I cannot feel that emotion with Taiwan music.
We are in Taiwan, so flamenco is not our culture. So we cannot only copy and only do what is flamenco. So we need to find the answer. How can we be, or how can we dance our flamenco? For me, always flamenco is not only a culture or a dance. For me, flamenco is more like something more espiritual. It's a spirit. And if you believe flamenco is a spirit, this is yours.
The pronunciation way and the culture is different, so our personality is a little different. To me, I want to learn the real flamenco, so I try to mimic everything. And I can say that kind of things change my character later. So it become more and more approach to the Spanish way. I want to learn that completely. Then maybe I will combine more flamenco Taiwanese part into it.
Flamenco music is already known all around the world, and especially in Spain we know about the Asian people is very curious about the flamenco culture. When I received this news about the flamenco groups in Taiwan, so I'm really interested to see. In the singing, the way they perform, sometimes it's very surprising. Because even for us in Spanish, when we listen to flamenco singer, it's difficult to imitate that, even to articulate. But the passion and the time they put an effort to make it happen, for me, is just respect.
我是从初三毕业的时候开始接触吉他，然后刚开始是古典吉他，后来才在高二的时候，我一个远房亲戚教了我弗拉明戈，所以我真的弗拉明戈开始是等于高二，等于是17岁开始。
Before I started to do flamenco, there was no flamenco in Taiwan. There were guitarists who play flamenco music. They play to the sheet. They don't play flamenco music as flamenco guitarists do.
蛮快的，所以就说哎，你适合弹 flamenco 就这样啊，所以就这样带我到台湾的那个大陆书局去买了 flamenco 的书了，从日本进口的这是我的开始。
I've been doing flamenco in Taiwan for 20 years, and good guitarists who can do real flamenco to accompany dance, to accompany singing, less than 5.
只是说觉得说用技巧跟古典不一样所以只是在弹很新鲜的感觉。弹 flamenco 的很少，算是很少做。
I started flamenco when I was in high school. I met my master, 庄维仁老师, Master 庄维仁, and he teach me how to play flamenco. The past flamenco guitar is more usually like a branch of the classical guitar learning. So there's very many guitarists for playing flamenco. But still they are doing flamenco in a classical way.
A good flamenco guitarist has to know so much about singing to be able to accompany. So it's a lot of work.
Flamenco guitar is not easy. It's very hard and very difficult.
会觉得很难学，必须对 flamenco 很喜欢的人才学得下去了。简单讲是这样。但是 flamenco 它是三位一体合起来的东西，它有唱歌、干顶，一个是 ballet dance 跳舞，一个是吉他跺脚，这个三个东西是合起来的叫 flamenco。
You have to pay a lot of attention. You are not only dance, but you need to be sometimes musicians.
Most people understand flamenco. They think flamenco is just kind of dance. Nowadays, most people still don't know the music part to the flamenco, especially perform in 现场. It's really important to flamenco.
Before I started, there were some dancers from a classical background or from modern dance background. They used to do some Spanish-ish or flamenco-ish dance. People in Taiwan were amused or entertained by the idea of gypsy, romantic, this kind of idea.
到最后有一个迷火 flamenco 舞坊，台湾第一个成立林根跟李欣他们所成立的舞蹈团，才把这个风气这样打开来。真的功劳应该是算他们了。虽然说以前曹金玲赖秀峰他们也在表演，那个都不是纯正的 flamenco。flamenco 是从迷火那边开始专业的，然后再推广 flamenco， 真的叫什么叫做 flamenco 逐渐的是由他们开始我们就顺便的就是跟随他们还尤其张老师几乎是他们的专业的伴奏的一个风气才慢慢起来，人家才知道什么叫 flamenco。
There is a dancer and also singer named Little Rabbit, and she also has a partner named 小黑人. They are famous singer and in television show, and they are also interested in the flamenco performance.
那时候台湾只是 play 这个吉他而已嘛，那所以说那时候我们一直推广，人家第一个看你没有谱， 而且技巧好像都速度都蛮快的，好像没有一个基本功夫的话弹不起来。乐谱也少，老师也少，各方面资料也少，所以学的话，那时候古典台湾还蛮多的，那反正那个就是少众。
法文歌其实是蛮难学，其实法文歌是需要一定的基础的，但是也不是说不能学，就是你还是得从基本功开始练。A scale maybe legato is very important, and you can and arpeggio. And maybe la scale.
Back the days where I learned flamenco, I play solo guitar just like classical guitar. So actually I don't know how does the guitar, how does the music work with the dancers and the singers.
To accompany singing, you have to learn how to sing. A good guitarist, a good flamenco guitarist has to know so much about singing to be able to accompany.
When you perform with the singers, you have to be really make sure on the beats, the gombas, be really specific on it, and not only the beats, but also on the chords. You have to listen the melody. When the singers the melody improvise, you have to
Follow.
Yes, I have to follow the chords.
In Taiwan, there's very few singers or even good singers. You can have some aspirantes or people aspiring to be singing flamenco, but that's different. You can have some students who try to mimic the flamenco song, but most of the time it's awful because you don't have that facultades, the faculty, so to produce the flamenco aurora.
The music in the flamenco is the corazón,
The heart of the yeah.
because flamenco beginning, the more the beginning is cante, singing.
It's only singing.
Only one table. If you don't understand this, you cannot hear that. You cannot create new.
The muscles we're using is a little bit different because they sing that naturally from when they were born, and I started singing flamenco at like 10 years, and it's difficult for me to pronunciate exactly like them. Some words or the R, R.
The accent, no, and when they speak the language, you can feel some kind of accent, but the music has no country. Also, the music is like don't belong to any country. If you can perform well and you can transmit, no, you can make people feel, then that's enough. Doesn't matter if you have a little bit of accent or whatever. If you sing with compass and your voice, your emotion is there, is touching, there's enough.
I don't really have to do 100% similar to the Spanish people.
I learned the dancing in Mi Fuego too. Then I found, oh, this music I like it and I try to sing it. When I learned it, I find I'm blind, I'm deaf. Because the melody and the rhythm, I never learned this thing before. But flamenco, the rhythm is really complicated. And the language I'm not familiar with. And the melody is really weird to me at first. But it's interesting and challenging.
I think that the melody, it can be very strong, very sad, very happy. The melody can tell you the difference. Even I don't understand Spanish. We listen to the melody, I can learn or tell it's happiness or it's sad or very strong, and you can go with the tempo.
I learned dance at the beginning, and I realized more and more we need singers to perform.
I have maybe 12, 13 students. Almost all my students are students of flamenco dancing too. They learn singing for helping they know the structure of the dance and how to dance with the music.
In the year 2000, we started this studio, and it became the first flamenco dancing center here in Taiwan. Back in that time, people are curious about flamenco.
At the very beginning, the flamenco is very popular because it's very new and the spirit is different than any other kind of dance.
When we started this studio, a lot of news coverage and a lot of TV reports, so people get to know about, oh, there's flamenco in Taiwan.
Everybody finds this art and it's easy to learn. So they go to the classroom and everybody, wow, it's really an interesting art.
Some of my friends in the States, they were curious how it becomes so fashionable in Taiwan, flamenco, because they don't feel it in the States.
People here interested in what we are doing, like why Taiwanese people will like to do flamenco. But I don't know if they really understand this kind of art.
They may have some misunderstanding. They confuse flamenco with tap dance because they think both of those two dances use the shoes, to have those sounds.
For them, flamenco is dancing, and girl dancing in skirts.
Everybody will have a strong image about what is flamenco. People come to our show with no idea. Maybe they are coming to see Carmen, or maybe they are coming to see something full of passion or anything related to Spain. What we like to do is flamenco live concert, and then also create another possibility that we can make people not only interested by the dance, but also the music. We've also known people that they get interested by the music before the dance.
Most people told me they don't like flamenco music. I mean, the traditional singing. Maybe they like the guitar, but they don't quite accept the rough sounds. So maybe what they like about flamenco is not identical to what the gypsy people like about flamenco.
The Spanish say sintiendo. It's like they are feeling and trying to find something, contact with them.
You have to find the flamenco, let the flamenco touch your heart, and let your bottom of your heart to touch flamenco. It's each other.
Flamenco in my view, is that belong to the world, because the deep feeling of human beings is universal. So flamenco, when it comes to the deep feeling in human beings, it fits in Asian, it fits in European, it fits in any culture.
Flamenco, why is so touching me? Because it's without the language, the letter, without even you don't know the music, it touched my heart without any language, without anyone to explain to me.
I mean, flamenco, it can be very deep dance or very pain dance, but also it's about all the life, what you feel in your life.
When I started to do the flamenco show, I told them, you don't have to be as polite as you are in music hall listening to Beethoven or Mozart. You can show your emotion by shouting. So they start to shout, and I taught them to shout the flamenco way. Ole. So they like this idea, and they try to express their emotions. But you have to give them ways to show their emotion.
Taiwanese people always, sing, confused. They cannot inspire, and they are ashamed to say ole.
Taiwanese people, they are passionate too, but sometimes something will hold them back, and they say, is it okay to say something while in the middle of a show? Or they don't understand when to clap or when to say hallel.
Today we have new audience, so I try to teach them how to clap the flamenco palma, and they try to, and I think they have something inside of them. Now later before I go out, I will talk to them how to know what does it mean flamenco for us.
This kind of interaction between performers and the public, we kind of build a connection.
I can feel them, but they don't know how to express.
The reaction in here is is related with the personality of the people from Taiwan. No? Taiwanese, they have this kind of certain kind of personality, who is totally different from Spain in many aspects. So in Spain, after we make concerts, we all together go find a bar to drink and talk about the show, and we are so excited. Here, after the concert, people go home.
I think if I can do it with all my feeling into it, later the audience will feel the feeling. Then the music is just the media. It's just something to transform my passion to them. And I think the flamenco music is pretty good in the transfer your passion.
But some shows we get cheered up, and the audiences are very warm, very hot. For us performers, yes, we would like to see that. But in Spain, you probably get more.
Bullfighting flamenco, one of the typical image of Spanish around the world, not only in Taiwan. I find it interesting because flamenco and bullfighting, they are always connected in history. Many flamenco moves imitate bullfighters' movements. I try to create more topics for the public to enjoy. They don't quite understand what it really means, bullfighting. Maybe they think it's too, like most people do, too cruel to kill animals right in front of your eyes. I'm not trying to defend the bullfighting. I just give them more opportunity to appreciate the bullfighter's costume, how they handle the capote, the cape, to interact with a bull. Of course, we don't have a bull here, but I use a male actor to do that. I always want to do the show to interact with the audience. And I know they don't know much about this flamenco.
Not a lot of people understand. If we only see the people dance on the stage, wow, beautiful, amazing. If we or people start to learn a little bit more about Spanish, about musical styles, the dance styles, they will know deeper things and they will get more attachment.
I try to speak to them before every piece. I try not to limit ourselves in the traditional flamenco styles. We always want to do more. We use classical music from Spain, so the audience can have more or open views about this flamenco or Spanish dancing.
Taiwanese people, when they see a show of flamenco, they will be very touching because it's very different style of dance. But flamenco, you don't need to explain so too much. The audience, when they saw the show, they will be very touching. It's because flamenco is always muy fuerte, so many power, and it's very espiritual. 很有生命力. It's very real. It's a very real dance, and so I think the Taiwanese people, when they saw the flamenco, they are all like surprised.
In Taiwan, we learn flamenco with like speedy music.
As a dancer and also as a singer, because we also need to know how to sing or how to dance working with guitarists. So that's something we need to learn too. So in that sense, if we're in lack of musicians, we're in lack of guitarists and singers, it's also very bad for us technically, because dancing to something, dancing with something, and dancing as a leading part in a among the musician is totally different idea.
Se puede mirar de muchas maneras, ¿no? Porque si hay un guitarrista que se aprenda la canción como una canción, que se aprenda el toque como una canción, la coreografía, entonces no hay ningún problema.
Sí.
Pero un guitarrista español normalmente siempre va a tener variaciones o según en qué momento el cuerpo le va a pedir meter otra cosa. Y el bailador que está acostumbrado a bailar con CD te va a decir que te has equivocado. Pero realmente no te has equivocado, simplemente que
te pedía otra cosa.
Que el cuerpo te pide otra cosa. Y esa es una diferencia entre Taiwán y España.
De acuerdo.
Ahora está cambiando.
Vale.
Esto hay que decirlo.
Vale.
Hace los últimos años los bailadores taiwaneses
se adaptan más.
It's very important to have the live musicians in the class, because then the structure and the intention of the dance.
At the beginning, there is no so many musicians there now, but that's what are we trying to create. I mean, a flamenco live session
For dancers, in this environment, which of course our challenge is lacking of musicians, it's very difficult to even teach or to practice to make us be a better dancers or better singers too.
We have our own musicians, Taiwanese now, and they've learned a lot, and we kind of create many things. And I think this is a good process.
Performing wise, you can do whatever you want. You can do it with recorded music. if you want to teach other people, if you want to teach other dancers some of the technique in flamenco movement, you're teaching other dancers the technique of flamenco, which actually include how to listen to this music and how to react because of the music. And this react takes a lot of time to practice, takes a lot of experience, and that type of learning only exists when there is a live guitarist or a live musician.
Bueno, en Taiwán, antes de que llegara yo, ya llevaba mucho tiempo estudiando flamenco, preparándose, también había guitarristas muy buenos. Lo que pasa que como habían muchos bailadores y pocos guitarristas, pues pude encontrar un sitio.
Here in Taiwan, you can say more and more people get into dancing in different areas, more than the old days.
Flamenco is very independent, and when like nowadays people would like to connect more. So if the dance have some social meaning, it's more easy.
I think it can dance alone with no partner, and it can dance as a group. It can dance with partner too. It's very flexible.
I've learned many kinds of dancing, but for some, like the social dance, you need to find a dance partner, and it's even difficult that you find an ideal couple, partner, the other. So I think it's better for me to just dance by myself.
The flamenco here, we should divide into two categories. One is the artistic, the other one is sports. Maybe they can intermix, but artistic scale is small. For sports, they come here to learn to do dancing, to keep them healthy. They don't care much about arts or artistic. They want to be dressed in flamenco and look beauty. That's a market. And the artistic level is always small and very difficult. If you want to produce a theatrical work on flamenco, it's difficult.
Most people, if they choose to dance, they will choose to dance the more easy and popular one, like MV dance or street dance, instead of flamenco. For them, they think flamenco is too difficult, and although it's very artistic.
So many students come here to learn flamenco. That's because it looks like hot or it's like hormone. For the beginners, they want to learn very quick to dance and to show their skirts. But for a head or more advanced, they have to pay more attention to their techniques and their rhythms. For students, it's hard to get advanced. So many people stop in the beginning time.
You have to combine so many things. You need to learn to understand the music pattern. The 12 bits or 8 bits or 4 bits is irregular. And then after you finally learn how to listen to music, you need to use your body to dance. And the hand gesture, the upper body, is not easy, not to mention the steps. It's really very complicated, but that is the best part because it's very unique. It's challenging, but if you can conquer it, you will have a sense of accomplishment.
Most people who come to our studio, they have little ideas of what flamenco is. They just knew they need to exercise.
I think it's kind of fulfillment. Yeah, much more than exercise. I feel free and happy. That's it. That's why kept me dancing till now.
You can see some students who have been dancing for many, many years. Maybe they get used to it, to keep moving. Maybe they have a passion. They get aroused by the flamenco passion. They feel it. But most of the people, they don't feel it. They don't feel the passion.
Some of those Taiwanese do have the passion to sustain, to keep those, flamenco as their habits for their lifetime. Because if you have that passion for flamenco, just like us, we will keep dancing flamenco, no matter how long it is. We will dance until we die.
应该是像所有的舞马，我们在观赏的时候，可能就觉得它就是中文讲说手舞足蹈。可是你真正进到一个专业，好比说跟老师学，我就很开心。我们是从一个很基本的舞马，舞步，然后你的每一个动作它是有原有本，它不是真的就是个随便卖弄。或者这样讲，就是我觉得要学个样子很容易，但是你要入门很难。
Do you think that Taiwan has created a different style of flamenco?
I think yes. For example, junior dance, what we do, or what we are doing, like Flamenco de Formosa, the choreography from Lian, I think it's totally different style from Spain. Because Spain is like flamenco or danza española, it's the heart of her creation. But in Taiwan, not only flamenco is like our heart, but we are more free in the creation.
The meaning of Taiwanese style is different to what you think because we have very different environment, like the climate or the color, what we look. Also, the beauty style to every culture is different. In Spain, also every year change the popular looking of the dress, and here we have a different thinking of what is beautiful.
In Chinese culture, some of our different feeling sensitive is different about flamenco, but they still can find flamenco in my dance. But they feel something different because my friend told me, your flamenco have something, it's your own self, but it's not their own flamenco. I do what I want, and they feel that.
Taiwanese people tend to be drawn to more contemporary, very technical, modern style of flamenco dancers. So you will, if you have see those workshops, like they invited people, bailaoles from Spain, and then here to teach. Most of the people they invited would be people more in the more innovative, more modern.
I don't think they have a Taiwan style. Maybe lots of different style can be have the taste of Taiwan can be seen. Like Islander, I think it's a personal creative of the Lü. It's about her story.
One of my shows called Islander, I was basically talking about how I felt as a Taiwanese or Taiwan-born flamenco performer. So there would be two things. So first of all is doing flamenco here in Taiwan, which kind of unusual. Second part of the thing is Taiwan. how is it important? Because people always ask me, like, how is it different, the community in Taiwan? How is it different, the style of Taiwan? How is it different, Taiwanese people's body structure? How is it different, our aesthetics? How is it different from our personality as a flamenco performer compared to other countries? And how is it different? I was born in the island, and I've been living here most of my life, and I never really realized that. So I start off from there and then try to see how this idea, how this notion of living on an island, how this shaped my mindset, how this shaped the way I see myself, especially as a flamenco artist.
Years ago, when I graduated from my university, I went to Spain. But that year, I learned flamenco in Conservatorio. But a very big question in my mind, because I'm not Spanish people. I can dance very well Chinese dance, modern dance, contemporary, even ballet, classical. But I cannot dance flamenco as well like them. I think their blood, inside their blood is red wine, Rioja or something. I'm very thankful to my dancing teacher. They always talk to me, Leon, to be yourself. You can do that. And they encourage and to do my own proprio flamenco. So I try to do the flamenco de Formosa in my country. To be something revolution is very hard. The people always say, that is not flamenco. And I say, what is flamenco? Flamenco is from the freedom alma. Alma, we call that soul.
I perform flamenco in many different countries, interact with different people, and I started to do self-introduction, say, hey, I'm a Taiwanese and I do flamenco. And then I started to see how people's feedback, how people's reaction on that. I will use flamenco as an element, and then I will kind of make it into like a theater show, combining stories, combining other elements, kind of experiments, so that you can reach out to different groups of people, different groups of audience. Because if I only targeted to flamenco audience, that will be very limited in Taiwan, since there are not that many people only watch flamenco.
Flamenco de Formosa is my style. Formosa we call Formosa Taiwan. Taiwanese flamenco. Flamenco de Formosa, that's me. What I did, what I done, the choreography here.
For me here is the trying to make a good show. But what I feel in Spain is just leave it to the emotions. So I think it's difficult for sure, because when you don't grow up with this culture, how you can feel it the same way? You know, you can like it or try to imitate it, but for the gypsy people in the south of Spain, it's totally different. It's like very naturally to them. So I think it's the missing part.
If you look at Cloud Gate, that's taken its contemporary dance around the world, selling out everywhere in the world.
Yes.
This could happen.
Yes, that's a good model. Because Cloud Gate, we don't say, oh, you are doing American dancing. It's doing modern dance. And because modern dance doesn't belong to any country. Modern dance is an idea, a form of expression. So one day maybe flamenco can be that form. If you count, maybe in Taiwan there are less than 5 professional flamenco male dancers. And I found in flamenco or in Spanish dancing, the male dancer can really express himself without being very athletic.
I want to learn a dance, and I just look around, and so I pick up flamenco because I can do it alone.
You can express your feeling, your deep feelings, without exhorting to circus movement. Maybe that's why it makes me excited.
First years, I think it is hard because I have many things to learn with the body. I have a rhythm or beat, but I don't have the line of the body. So I have to take a look to the mirror to fix my position.
其实东方人会喜欢上 Flamenco， 很多都是因为它漂亮的肢体，还有漂亮的衣服。那大部分是女孩子对这个比较兴趣。那东方文化里会觉得男生去动这些东西是一个好像失去男生气概，所以愿意来学舞蹈的男生本来就比较少。那今天因为大部分都是女孩子来学 Flamenco 以后 ，Flamenco 的走向也会变成就是比较偏一些女性化的舞蹈，可能会比较多。那 Flamenco 里面还有一些很重要的就是脚上做的那些节奏的部分。原本在女生里面这个是做的比较少，男生是比较多的。那因为喜欢的大部分是女孩子，那很多也都比较没有一直在做脚的部分，所以变成身体的部分的舞蹈会比较多。
Japan is the second flamenco country in the world.
Japan already developed flamenco, I think, more than 50 years. The national character in Japan is more inward. So when they found that the other kind of foreign culture is so outward, they just want to do something to express themselves in another kind of art. When they go back to their ordinary life, they become the same Japanese, but they can express some feeling they don't dare to express in their culture in the flamenco. That is why they like flamenco.
They are more serious about it. For Taiwanese people, we learn from flamenco just like a hobby, okay, like an interest. But for some Japanese, they can quit their jobs and they just, forget everything and they just jump into flamenco to learn flamenco.
Japan, they can do the perfection. There are so many dancers, they can do very good flamenco. And they are flamencos or flamencas when they dance the zapateado, the emotion, the body is totally like a Spanish. But I think the good things in Taiwan is we are free. And the soul or the thing we do, the ideas we do, we are very alive.
The way I realized how Japanese people dance flamenco differently is by watching a flamenco show, Tablao show in Japan. That was the time when I realized she did everything, like the made, everything, the choreography is very traditional. But the way, like the manner, she is like always not in a hurry. Everything, you can see this only Japanese personality in it. But if she wants to explore her Japanese side, I think that's also, that would work too.
For the singer, I think the pronunciation maybe is a problem. Most of the Japanese singers have a very strong accent. Yeah, but they still have some of them are pretty good.
Japanese people, they are so deep and so concentrated to do, and so love it. I think their love is to be like that, to be like a Spanish, like a Gitana. But that's why I don't like that. I think if we do flamenco, just focus to traditional tablao, it's for me, that is just copyright.
It's always a question about us, the foreigner people doing the flamenco thing, what we want, because the flamenco is can be a art style, very culturally, and in the first, like in Japan, everybody or us, everybody want to be like Spanish, but it's impossible. I want to be myself.
Flamenco in Taiwan, we are so many groups, and I think that the most sad thing in Taiwan is the Taiwanese people, we are not unit, we are separate. This thing makes me feel a little bit sad because I think the flamenco is not easy to learn. We are not like Japan. I very respect the spirit of Japan. They respect this art and not only do the thing you want to do. They respect how to learn.
Flamenco nowadays has a lot of variety and a very wide spectrum of content and styles.
Many local musicians, they want to show their talents in different countries like flamenco or like Latin music, like Indian music. So many bands, they play other countries' music.
I think there's connection between flamenco and the local music here by using flamenco elements, the beats, the sound.
我觉得这个应该不是太容易的事情，因为第一你要对台湾的这首你要改编的这首歌要熟悉，然后再来就是主要是因为要像的是弗朗明哥，所以你对弗朗明哥的技巧、它的拱巴结构，还有法塞达这个编排的方式，你都要熟悉它的这些手法或者是它的概念之类的，你才有方式可以把它混合的像你想要偏向弗朗明哥的味道。就是他的歌是长这样的。全世间爱情啊，空照望一场风声。我用的是这一段，然后呢，在我的法塞达里面，我把它穿插在这边，比如说我的法塞达放这边。这边，全世间，这边，爱情啊，爱情啊，空照望这边，一场风声。对，我是这样把它穿插在一个就是一个段落里面。
Some of the pop songs want to use some flamenco flavor. They use flamenco just like a kind of flavor. They don't want the traditional flamenco.
我们以前学的时候，就是老师有讲，每个人有他自己的过去，对自己在学弗朗明哥是很重要的。你先讲到这边。就是每个人的过去对你现在在学弗朗明哥是很重要的。然后我举例，譬如说，你如果早先是弹古典吉他，转去弹弗朗明哥，这你早先是爵士吉他手，弹弗朗明哥，这都会结果都不太一样。
Jazz is kind of a way of expression. You express your feeling through this particular way. When we say flamenco, it always comes out Spanish. The jazz music has its background. American culture is almost world culture. So people, they accept jazz because it's world culture. But flamenco is Spanish. When you do flamenco, you have to imitate Spanish people.
The culture is very different. Maybe in Spain or America or in other countries, they both has very deep flamenco and jazz culture. And when these two cultures meet to each other, they just naturally have this fusion. But here in Taiwan, I think flamenco culture is still building, and the jazz culture is still building, but ahead from flamenco here in Taiwan.
The history of 20th century in flamenco is always you have the nucleus of the purists, the flamenco, and mixed with the things on fashion. During the 40s and the 50s was with the copla. It's kind of popular songs in Spain, you know, with the character of the flamenco dress and everything, but really not really flamenco, but really close to flamenco. And during the 60s, 70s, mixed up with rock and roll. Some bands like the south of Spain, like Triana, all of these bands is very popular. 80s, 90s go to the jazz.
Paco de Lucia,
with Paco de Lucia opened the flamenco to everyone. Aldi Meola, this,
all the world.
All the world, right? Yes. And then now with the hip hop and the trap also, like Rosalia, this new like pop star, we can say. So the flamenco is open up this way. That means you listen something related to flamenco and the people get interested and go back to the source and somehow.
Every kind of music in the world have the same thing inside of the music. You have to find yourself to touch every kind of the music. For me, especially the flamenco, especially from the Taiwan local music, it's the same way. But you have to open your mind to find that.
Flamenco is not a product. It's a way of expression. The Gitanos, the Gypsy, express their feelings through flamenco. And when Taiwanese people or Asian people express their feelings through flamenco, it can be something else, but still flamenco. And also attractive to Spanish people, attractive to Taiwanese people.
For flamenco now, we have plenty of professional performance. I will give a positive thought for the flamenco future here.
For my dream, my future, I want my dancing company can have more cooperation with Spain.
I hope the flamenco and the Spanish culture will be growing in Taiwan. We like to mix with other cultures as well and accept everyone, and I think it's a nice way to share our country.
Flamenco belongs to the world because the deep feeling of human beings is universal. So flamenco fits in any culture.
We do love flamenco, but everyone, every of us, we do our own flamenco, our own style. I don't know, you know what I mean?
I think flamenco will be a good partner of your life.
We got a long way to do, a very long way.
I think flamenco will not die. I'm very optimistic.
I think I'm very lucky to know this art and can be a singer.
Flamenco for me is not just music and a dance, it's just a way of life.
My family and my children think flamenco makes me happy.
The people is dancing now, they will have babies or, you know, and they will try to transmit this feeling for his own sons or daughters, you know, so you can actually have a second generation of flamenco dancers or guitar players.
I can dance until I die. Also, I hope I can dance and die on the stage if I can.
I think the future is just growing.
In Taiwan, there's never enough flamenco going on here.